trendsetter, high stakes poker player, danger girl, and OMG. Welcome to the interview show. Today's guest is Liz Herrera, and a part of being an overall smart marketer and business owner, she's all of what I just said and more, like day trader, Amazon millionaire, affiliate genius, right? Now, before we jump into the interview, full disclosure is very important on the show. So in light of that, we want you to know upfront that if we recommend a product or service and you invest, we get compensated for our recommendation. Now, with that said, we only recommend products or services that we know are absolutely worthwhile. So with that out of the way, let's jump into the interview. Now, a few words that I used to introduce Liz may have got you a little intrigued. And actually, as I was doing research, it made me more and more excited to do this interview because I've only heard of Liz. This is the first time I've actually sort of interacted with her in any way, unless we met at an event and I totally forgot, which is a possibility. But with that said, Liz, welcome to the show.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Zane, and just fire away. I'm excited to be here.
All right, cool. Thanks. So here's what I've got. I've got trendsetter, but really the first thing that really pops out to me is high stakes poker player. So I even if you've already told the story a million times, I'd love to hear it.
Okay, yeah. Usually when we say high stakes poker player, a lot of people picture me sitting in a casino, like a really scummy casino with smoke and pedaling away and trying to win a couple bucks a day and things like that. But it was actually the complete opposite. I was actually an online poker player, so I would play professionally every day and pretty much sit in front of a computer playing as much as 20 tables at one shot. And
oh, wow.
I would actually do that. I did that for 10 years, which you can imagine can be very, you can have a lot of trouble with your health at some point if you don't actually take care of yourself. But mentally, it was the most challenging time of my life. It was like a roller coaster. It was really high stakes. There would be some pots that were pretty high. I couldn't believe, if you had told me when I'd started playing that I would be playing for that much money, I would have never believed you. But I feel that it was absolutely essential in order to become as successful as I've been able to do because of the mindset part and just the challenges that I had in front of me. And it was just an incredible time in my life. I always look at it as it was the best thing that could possibly ever happen for my life. Although at the end of all that, there was something called Black Friday, actually. And you're thinking because we just had Black Friday.
Right.
Black Friday, where the DOJ actually shut down all the poker sites and seized the money, and a bunch of poker sites declared bankruptcy. And that's kind of how I actually got into Amazon. So a lot of my money got actually taken from me, and I've never seen it since then. So it's kind of a sad tale. It started off quite sad, and now we're here.
So in a way, it was kind of like the real estate bubble, like something happened in the marketplace that nobody could have anticipated, and you suffered from that.
Right, absolutely. I pretty much hit rock bottom and didn't have a choice to do anything. And sometimes they say when you're really desperate, that's when really great things happen. And I had no choice. I jumped right into Amazon, and pretty much at that point I had run out of savings and everything. And I literally, as I told you earlier, I started to scan things in my garage and set those into Amazon. That's how I made money to start putting into my Amazon business.
Oh, wow. See, now that's actually one of the other data points that I would like to go into, because as we said, Amazon millionaire, and you started Amazon with nothing. Tell me about how that happened. Like what got Amazon on your radar, and how did you just start scanning things like that? You don't just wake up one day and go, I'm going to start scanning stuff in my garage.
Right. So at the time, I actually had always wanted to be like a wannabe internet marketer. So the whole time that I actually played poker, I was thinking of a career change. So I would constantly be buying systems and programs that promised me, make money online and things like that. So I would buy a lot of those. And at one point I bought it. And I remember at that point, my mom, who is retired and no longer works, she needed to get into some kind of business. And when I saw that she had the potential to get into Amazon, I just kind of gave her the actual system, and she started to do it. But the only problem is she's not like technically like disabled, but she's got some health issues which limits her ability to do a lot of things. So she needed help actually packaging the boxes and taking them out to the UPS store. So I helped her do that. And I had wanted her to start her own business. And at that point, the poker thing had completely just ended just overnight pretty much. So I helped her scan in that shipment and send it in, and noticed that when I was tracking it for her, I was sort of stunned at the speed at which she had an actual sale. It was like almost instantly when the items got checked in, she had a sale. And pretty much I saw more sales happen. And I was like, okay, this is kind of interesting. This is pretty cool. Imagine if I had 10 times that many products selling that quickly, this could actually be a real business. So at that point, I'd taken everything that we had in the garage, sent that in, and that's how the money just started to roll in. So to me, it was the most fascinating way to make money because of the speed at which I saw results, and those results gave me and her like much more confidence. At first, we would see something and say like, okay, there's no way somebody's going to pay this much for that product. And to our surprise, they would. So it was just like this amazing business that the more stuff you sent in, the more money you made, and the more confidence that was built within you.
The retail arbitrage. I mean, that's like the term in the circles, right?
Right. The retail arbitrage, right? And the good thing about that is it takes very little money. As I told you, I started with just the things in my garage and just very little money up front, which is something that's kind of like completely unheard of. And in most, internet marketing courses, a lot of times, we talked about this earlier, is you'd have to load up, we talked about video. A lot of people don't want to put up a lot of video, or they don't even want to make a video. With this, you don't even have to do any of that. I mean, just go into your garage, you use your smartphone, you scan stuff, you send it to Amazon, and they handle everything. You don't even have to do but one shipment to Amazon.
So, and you mentioned an app like on the phone. Is there like I'm sure there's lots of different apps out there. Is there a favorite one that you like to use?
My favorite one is called Profit Bandit, and it's $10 a month, so you really can't beat it. You get $10 a month app, and then Amazon account, which if you sign up for an Amazon account, first month is free. After that, it's $40 a month. So really, you could be up and running with a full throttle business for like $10. That's all it would cost you.
Nice. And then the goal is, of course, pull up the app and then scan things. And when you say scan things, you're talking about scanning the barcode on the item.
Yeah, absolutely. So you just go out to your favorite store. In fact, I was actually at Walmart the other day ago, and it's one of my favorite stores. Not, but it is a very, you got to go to Walmart to get stuff. So I was at Walmart and scanning things, and I came across like some cough drops, and the cough drops scanned in, and they were just a ridiculous profit. So I was like, this
Oh, nice.
kind of tempting to actually grab all the cough drops that I saw, but I was like, oh, I would have to send that shipment in. And right now during
Oh, right.
it's kind of difficult for me to mix in something that I'm not doing anymore. But it's just so tempting when you go out there. There's so many different things that you can literally make money on.
I got that same feeling when I first learned about private labeling products. Like I went to the store with a completely different viewpoint from that point forward. I like, that's a private label, and that I could private label that. Holy cow! It just and like you took it one step further with an app, but I would start taking pictures of items that I thought were interesting to private label. But that takes time. That puts a big gap between making money, just coming up with an idea and then making money. Whereas yours was, you go in, scan the item, if it gets your attention, and then it tells you whether or not it's worth pursuing. Like that, you did the one step that I didn't think of. That's
Right.
awesome.
And I know you and I spoke about this earlier, that private labeling, obviously I love to do private labeling. That's my favorite business model now. But initially, by doing all that retail arbitrage and going out there and just almost studying products,
Hmm.
it was able to give me so many product ideas that nobody else had actually thought of. And so it gave me a different angle and a different perspective to come up with products. And not just that, I had the proof that they sold because I was retail arbitraging them. So that gave me even more confidence to do it. And some of my best products have actually been products that I originally sent in from Walmart. And I said, hey, okay, so this company's private labeling it, but so can I, because it's just a standard product, So that was the way that I sort of launched my private label business, which is, if you can start that way, that's fantastic. But if not, I mean, retail arbitrage is clearly like for $10, you have a business, which is kind of amazing.
Yeah, that right there, that's going to be a video, its own video clip right there. Super
Yeah,
powerful.
absolutely.
So this next point that I want to hit on still I think stays in this Amazon space, and this isn't something that I saw. It was just a feeling that I got. Again, doing research on you and learning more about you. I'm going to go ahead and say it, even though the term is thrown around a lot. Trendsetter, like that. There's a lot of people who claim to be trendsetters, but I noticed you and wanted to do this interview with you based on people talking about things that you've done. And I mean, it's one thing to say, hey, look at all the stuff that I've done, but it's totally different to have third party validation, right?
Right.
And so many people just, Liz Herrera, Liz Herrera. I'm like, who is this person? And so the only way that really happens to get that third party verification is being a trendsetter. And more I've seen in especially with the whole Amazon stuff, because I totally fell in love with it too, is that things you would talk about were things that just were an inkling in the back of my mind, but I didn't execute on it, right? But I went, that seems like it could work, but you took it a step further. And so what I want the viewers to understand is that it's important to be a trendsetter. And I would like to know what kind of things that you look for when it comes to like a new opportunity or a new idea, like we were talking about earlier, that actually makes you a trendsetter.
Right. I think it's really two key things. The first one is just never always going with what's normal. If somebody tells me something works, I always wonder what the opposite would do. So I've done this a lot, time and time again, not just with Amazon, but even like with SEO. But a lot of times when somebody says this should be done this way, not that way, even as a kid, it made me just wonder. If my mom said never go over there because that's where all the bad people hang out, and I might just check out and see what's going on over there because I'm curious what makes those people bad. So a lot of it deals with curiosity. Like I'm always curious to find new ways to do things. So when somebody says, one of the key things in Amazon that somebody constantly always would say is make sure you load up as many keywords as possible on the back end. And I always wondered what would happen if I didn't do that, and what would happen if I only put a couple keywords? Would that have any different type of effect? So I constantly would try to test the things that people would say and do the entire opposite of them. And so I think that's one key thing. The second key thing is the fact that I'm constantly like a buyer of information. Like I just love to buy information, whether it's a new course. I mean, as I told you earlier and you saw, I actually bought one of your video courses, which was fantastic, by the way.
Thank you.
I highly recommend that course. But one of the main reasons that I purchased it is because of the fact that there was things in that course that I just hadn't thought of applying to my videos. So I thought that bit of knowledge that he gives me in that actual video course could change the entire way that I do things. So I was just so thrilled when I got it, and I got in there and dissected it and pretty much figured out how to create better videos, not only create them, but put them up there and run ads and things like that. So you taught me a lot about that, but it's my constant need for more knowledge. And more importantly, once I get that knowledge, actually going out there and taking action. Because I think you and I talked about this earlier, is the fact that most people, they just like to buy a lot of courses and they don't take action. So not only do I buy that information, but then I apply it, and I apply it especially to my Amazon business.
So it sounds like you leveraged your own curiosity to almost trick yourself into implementing. You went through a course and you saw something that sparked your curiosity, and then you implemented it, and that gave you more ideas and more curiosity that sometimes led to a course, but most of the time just led to another action of testing something else.
Right. So it's constant testing. It really is. And it's testing because I really need to have like this curiosity. I need to know what actually is the result of my curiosity. So it's kind of like a strange thing. I need to know what the best way to do things are. And sometimes that's just constant testing and constantly changing things up and figuring out what the best way to do something is. And what I constantly find is that there really never is a best way. There's several different ways to do things. And really the key is once you get that information, you just take action on it, because then even your imperfect actions are actions still, and they still generate some sort of results.
So going back to your story, you started working with your mom implementing this arbitrage system, and then you started to see success. You started to see something that surprised you, just how quickly items sold. And that sparked something in your head of like, well, I just need to put more products on Amazon. Keep scanning, right?
Right, absolutely. And that's what we basically did is we just got the most possible amount of items that we could physically do because again, the retail arbitrage, there's certain scaling limitations when you actually do retail arbitrage. And that's where we eventually got into private label because of the fact that at that time it was just me and my mom. So there was only two of us doing all this work. And as I said
Mhm.
before, she has some physical limitations. So to be quite honest with you, a lot of times it was me packing boxes during the month of December and November, and it was freezing. I remember just going back in my head, I can remember packing all these boxes, and it's really cold in the part of Texas that I live in at that point, and it would be really cold, and I would be literally sweating because of how many boxes I was packing and products that I was putting together. I would be drenched in sweat from all the actual work that I'd done on the day. And this was right smack dab in the middle of winter. And so I can just think back of all the hard work that I actually put into it at that point. And I thought, okay, there's got to be a better way
Yeah.
because I'm sweating in the middle of winter and I've got a backache the next day. And I don't know how much more I can take of this. But then that's when we found private label.
Ah, okay. So then you moved into private label. I would assume, and correct me if I'm wrong, all this experience with the retail arbitrage sort of pushed you into the direction you probably was floating around in your head, and you said, you know, if we did something on a bigger scale, it'd be something like whatever your products were. Right?
Right.
Am I close?
Yeah, funny enough, Zane, one of the very first products that we actually came out with private label was one that my mom found. Like my mom's like 58 years old, not does not have a single bit of internet marketing experience, no selling on the internet. She just barely learned how to text like a month ago. It's quite silly almost. She's the one that actually found the product and we just threw it up there and pretty soon she had a $10,000 a month product in
Wow.
sales. And it was
Wow.
just because of the experience she had gained from going out to the store and just scanning things. So it's kind of an incredible thing. At the same time, it shows you that your age, your physical limitations, all that, it just really doesn't matter. I mean, if you just take action, a 58-year-old woman that has no internet marketing experience whatsoever can create a product like that just off of the experience she has by going out there and scanning. It's just like
Yeah.
unbelievable what you can do on Amazon.
Absolutely. So then, the first product, I mean, very shortly, he was making $10,000 a month. Now, of course, I mean, you seem like a very forward-thinking person. What happened at this point? Were you thinking, oh, I need to have 10,000 products, or did you want to go more into like, deeper into that particular product's vertical, so to speak?
It wasn't really a product where we thought about like a lot of times I find that people overthink things. So I know like traditional courses always tell them one of the key factors that you should think about is think about how you can actually vertically go into like, let's say you decide to sell a basketball.
Hmm.
Then think about what else you could sell in addition to the basketball, whether it be maybe you're going to go into footballs, soccer balls, so forth, or maybe basketball, the knee pads and things like that. What I really try to tell people to do is don't worry so much about that because that's one more thing that you have to overthink. Instead, just throw a product up there and pretend that product is your actual like tuition.
Mm.
So that one product, you're going to go, whatever money you put into that one product, you're going to learn, you're going to get a degree from the school of Amazon.
Yeah.
Once you have
Very,
that
very
degree,
well said.
once you have the degree, the sky's the limit, right? It's not like traditional degrees where you get a student loan bill every month and things
Yeah.
like that. With the school of Amazon degree, you have the ability to create as many products as you possibly want, as long as you learn the system for one product. And after that, it becomes much easier. But we just as people tend to overthink the dumbest things.
Yeah, that's right. No, I think I have a PhD in making things more complicated. So, no, actually, that's brilliant. So you chose not to go down a deeper vertical, mostly because the product you had didn't really have those options in the first place. But you said, let's move on to another one, right? Like, turn to mom, like, okay, that first one was awesome. You got any more? Like, was it like that?
Right. And it's kind of funny is the first product that we actually did, which we still have, we've had so many problems with that product because we've had a lot of problems finding suppliers. So our actual
Wow.
supplier was local. We found that supplier in our city, and they just couldn't have enough inventory for us to actually keep it in stock. So since then, we've had a lot of issues with finding good suppliers in China and things like that. And I think we finally found a better one, but we actually had a period where it was sold out for like 3 or 4 months because we were just having supplier issues. And we sort of now have been rebuilding the ranking, but it's down in sales significantly since that point that happened. But really, it's never a product that we expanded on the vertical or anything like that. It's just a product that we sort of had a lot of problems. So again, it goes to show that sometimes even an imperfect product can still make you money. It's just
Yeah.
the whole point is get out there and do action because of that product, it just opened up a whole new world to us because now we have several other products that we don't have those problems with, and that's because we have a degree in the School of Amazon.
I love that because that is what it feels like for sure. Like I've had my store for a couple of years, and every day is a new adventure in Amazon.
Yeah, and one of the great things too, Zane, is I don't have to worry about that monthly student loan bill from the School of
Right.
Amazon. Instead,
Yep. Yep.
instead they send me a biweekly check.
Absolutely. We'll see, and that leads me to, so like now you're at this point, right? You're starting to see some momentum. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you've sold over $1 million of products on Amazon. Is that right?
Right.
What was that journey like?
It was incredibly fast because of just the power that is Amazon. I don't think people can understand that until they actually send in product and start seeing sales happen. There's nothing like the confidence that it builds just to actually do that. Like, I just challenge everybody that's out there that's listening to this to just try it out. Just get Profit Bandit. It's $10. That's the most you have to lose. Scan some things around your house, and you're going to realize that you probably are sitting on a gold mine. And if all you want to do is just make a couple $1,000s, you can probably pretty much do it just based off of the stuff that you have in your house. But going forward, if you actually wanted to have some sort of supplemental income, it can take off for you just the same way it took off for me. I mean, there's so many things that are out there. And now that we're like on this e-commerce is just going to get bigger and bigger. We just recently had where clicks beat bricks, I think was the name of the story. So the Black Friday or Cyber Monday, I think it was actually Black Friday, where clicks eclipse bricks was the actual
Wow.
story that was, I think, in the LA Times, where it basically talked about how there was more people that shopped online. This was the first year that it ever happened. And again, this is only going to get bigger and bigger, and not just in the US, but globally. And that gives so many more opportunities for people that are actually out there. So again, it's just something that anyone can do. It's not that difficult to hit $1 million in sales if you just go out there and you actually do this. People actually do it just with their phone and retail arbitrage.
Wow. I mean, that's mostly what I'm taking out of this is to go buy the app and start scanning stuff, right?
Right, right,
Because that
absolutely.
can lead to millions of dollars of sales in private label. Like it's not one or the other. I think that's where you're kind of the contrarian, is that there's a lot of cheerleaders for different products. It's like, this is the one, the only one. Don't buy anything else, and it has to be just this. And you're saying, well, why not both? Right? Like Fladlin always says, if you see a $1 bill, a $5 bill, and a $20 bill on the ground, which one are you going to pick up? Well, I'm going to pick up all of them, right? So,
Absolutely.
so what? Yeah, why not all of it? And so, like you said there that you don't do the retail arbitrage. Was there a point where you realized that okay, I'm going to focus more on private label, and like that was it, or did you still keep doing retail arbitrage?
I actually don't do retail arbitrage because of time limitations, but I still do another method called wholesaling. There is just like
Ah.
so many different business models that you can actually take this. In fact, one other thing that I was going to mention to people is the fact that recently inside of OMG, we had our youngest earnings report ever. I have a 9-year-old student that actually
Whoa.
sent in an earnings report. He made his first $1,000 scanning.
Wow.
So for a 9-year-old kid to be able to do that and actually make $1,000 is pretty darn amazing. It just goes to show you that as long as you just get out there and do something, there's really no way that you can't make money using that particular model. And that's usually the reason that I recommend that model to everyone to start with, because it's just amazing what a confidence builder it is. And again, if a 9-year-old
Yeah.
kid did it, really anybody can do it. I mean, like I said, from 9 years old to my mother, which is like 58, I think she was 57 at the time. I could have been a bit younger than that when we started, 56 maybe. It just goes to show it really doesn't matter how old you are, as long as you have a smartphone and just the
What was that app again?
Profit Bandit.
Profit Bandit. Okay.
Right.
Write that down, folks.
But there's several models. Retail arbitrage is obviously the first one that I recommend, but I eventually found my way to private label, and in between I've done wholesaling, and now I even do partnering, which is the newest way that I actually teach people how to get into the game.
All right. Well, we're definitely going to need some contact information on that, because I'm sure anybody watching is going to be like, "Whoa, what's that?"
For sure, yeah. And it's just a unique angle where you can get started. A lot of people, just by having the ability and having the degree in the school of Amazon, then you can pretty much take any product where somebody's struggling to sell on Amazon. I get so many people that contact me like, I can't get my product to sell. I want to partner with you so it can get sold. And what it does is it creates you no longer have the need for cash flow, because they're the people that are going to have to worry about the cash flow. So you're able to partner with product, and you don't have to worry about putting your money into it, which again is as big as I want to grow. I'm always having like cash flow issues because of the fact that I want to keep growing. And I have friends that make $100 million a year selling on Amazon, and they still have cash flow issues because they're wanting to grow.
All right.
It's really going to be a never-ending issue as long as you want to continue to grow. And by partnering with people that already have product, that creates a big opportunity for you to, as long as you have that degree in the school of Amazon, really the sky's the limit.
Absolutely.
Go big or go home.
So when did this idea pop into your head? I've never heard of the partner side.
I actually I've heard, I know a few people had partnered, but what really kind of gave me the idea is when I came inside of OMG, they have this thing called client consulting, where it teaches people how to get local businesses and like smaller size businesses to pay them to either do SEO on their site and or just do a lot of different local type of services.
Right.
So that's how the idea actually came about, is I thought, okay, there's client consulting for Google, or this client consulting just in general for local businesses, but why can't there be client consulting for Amazon? And then I thought about all the different things that somebody might need to grow their business. A lot of times they're short on time, resources, ability, and or money. And that's where it kind of came about. I thought, well, you could just as easily do client consulting for Amazon, and then a byproduct of that would be obviously having to partner with people that have product and money. And then you just use your ability to be able to make these products show up for the top with certain keywords.
Spoken like a true trendsetter.
Yep. It's just, it's something that's so simple and right in front of our face, but never really been taught or focused on. But I think it's a huge opportunity going forward. It's a huge opportunity for global, and it's just a huge opportunity within the USA. I think pretty soon you're going to see a lot of people that are signing really big clients. And again, going into this partnering idea, the other way that I sort of got that is by getting introduced into the OMG guys, it kind of opened up a tremendous amount of opportunities with partnering with people like the NFL and trying to think a few of the others. So a sports star that recently came to me and wanted to have some of their things ranked on Amazon, and a reality star, and a couple other different, a billionaire, quite a bit of few different people in there that I was kind of sort of like, wow, how the heck did they find out about me? And it was basically through these OMG guys and Jason Fladley. And so again, a tremendous bunch of guys that I recommend if anybody has a chance to actually just go up to one of those guys. They're kind of just real people, and they're sort of amazing people that if you can listen to them talk for even a couple minutes, a genius idea can actually come out of it.
Wow. So you were already doing really well with Amazon and stuff when you met the Mike Long and those guys.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Jason Fladley and too.